Phineas and Ferb, a Disney Channel original animated series that premiered in 2007 and ran for 4 long seasons until 2015. But as recently as next year, it has been announced we're getting a season 5. If you're unfamiliar with the show, it's about these two stepbrothers, Phineas and Ferb, who are determined to make every day of their summer vacation fun. A large part of the show focuses on other characters like Candace, their older sister, who's constantly trying to bust them for their inventions, or Parrot the Platypus, who's a secret agent for Alka with his nemesis, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. But that's not why we're here today. There's been one question in this show that's remained unanswered in my eyes that I need to know. How do Phineas and Ferb afford their inventions? Let's begin with our basic understanding of how their universe works. The first and most important thing is time in their world is not like ours. They're able to do things in hours that should take days, months even. But we do know their economy is like ours, like in season 3, episode 24, where we do see the antique shop for the first time that the Flynn Fletchers own so they can afford their house in the suburbs. Or in season 3, episode 5, where we learn that Dr. Doofenshmirtz relies on his ex-wife's alimony to afford his innators and his building, since, according to monograms.
She loaded, ka-ching.
However, how do the children, who we see do not work or have any money coming in, afford the supplies to build such drastic inventions every day? Well, I wanted to answer that question, so I spent days, no, weeks, rewatching every episode of Phineas and Ferb ever created, including the movies. I collected every mention of how they pay for their projects, businesses they may have made money from, events they threw. I even asked Phineas and Ferb themselves. Aren't you a little young to run a multi-million-dollar manufacturing company in your backyard?
Yes I am.
Damn, they're good. But if I can't get answers from the source, we'll have to go deeper. Okay, not that deep yet, but Reddit does have some really good theories. One I saw that popped up pretty often was credit card fraud, which, valid. An argument could be made, they would get caught, of course, get in trouble. But it's only been a few months. They only have
104 days of summer vacation.
So with only that much time, it's not unrealistic for them not to get caught yet. But sure, you may not believe that. Fine. There's also some theories that Alka pays for everything through Parrot the Platypus working for them. But out of all of these, the most convincing to me is selling their inventions, which we've seen them do before, or maybe getting royalties from the one-hit wonders, or the insane amount of money they made from the lemonade stand, just to name a few. Selling patents on their inventions, city council seats they get paid for. But after all that, there's one final theory that made me decide to make this video. The investor theory. In season 3, episode 17, Giant Ants, we see them make a giant ant farm off screen, which is nothing new. However, for the first time, they mentioned something very interesting.
The Antius Maximus. That was just a scale model to get the investors interested. This is the real thing.
Whoa! How did we miss that?
What investor? Has there been a secret benefactor this entire time? But if we're now supposed to believe that investors play a hand in the projects throughout the entire summer, why have they never been referenced before or after? Most likely because it was a throwaway joke and shouldn't be taken this seriously. Or maybe it was a purposeful misdirect to a loyal audience that was getting too close to the real answer. No, it was probably just a joke. But if these investors aren't the answer and the other theories I've gone through aren't either, then what is? Well, there's only one person who knows the answer to it all. That's right. Dan Povenmire, the co-creator of Phineas and Ferb and the voice of Dr. Doof himself. I spent hours rummaging through Dan's endless social media posts on TikTok and YouTube, and after searching all night and thinking I may never get answers, burning eyes and sore thumbs aside, I found it.
On the first day of their summer, they built that roller coaster, and Phineas says this.
We should have charged more.
So they charged admission for the roller coaster, took those profits and invested them very wisely. And that's been funding their summer ever since.
Oh, well, that's simple. Wait a minute. Enhance? See that in the reflection of his eyes? What is that? Is that Ferb holding up? So after weeks of enveloping my life in nothing but Phineas and Ferb, sometimes blurring the lines between reality, just trying to get the answer to this question, I'd say we still don't have it.
I can't believe it.
Now, if you want to say Dan's word is final and that's the whole truth, I mean, that's valid. It's not completely off base. It's probably accurate in some ways, as in investing that money into the future of their inventions, but I refuse to believe that Phineas and Ferb are crypto bros, and the $50 they made in admission fee is enough to get them where they are. But regardless, with all the other evidence, the answer can't be that simple. Like, for example, Dan's theory falls apart when you ask, How did they afford the money to build a roller coaster in the first place? Not only that, we also see in season 4, episode 47, Act Your Age, when we see them all grown up going to college, we see a flashback of Isabella visiting Phineas, building inventions years prior to when the show takes place. So if he's been making inventions for years, did he start small and then made more money from those inventions? That was never mentioned. Did they always have the money to make these big inventions? Or is this summer the first time they ever did anything more than just something that could fit in their palm of their hands? I don't know. We also see in Phineas and Ferb second dimension that Alka can just recreate their inventions out of thin air. That doesn't support any theory. And finally, I'm sure that over the summer, they get favors done by people and they have investments and businesses where they get the money from to pay for their projects. But that's not the whole answer I want. I want to know how they afford the initial investment to make these projects and how they keep up the money, because a lot of these projects they don't get money from. Most of them they don't. So what's the truth? How are Phineas and Ferb paying for their inventions? Which one do you believe? Now, obviously, this video is just for fun. This is a big question that I know a lot of people had, but more importantly, I wanted to shine some light on this masterpiece and the phenomenal writing that led to this show being one of the most nostalgic and nuanced shows of all time. I mean, the songs, almost 20 years later, are still so iconic, and I know for a fact, no one would know what an aglet is if it wasn't for this episode. But in the end, I still need answers, okay? Dan, I'm talking to you now. If you're not Dan Povenmire, you can go. Don't go. You can stay. I know I'm a smaller channel, but I'm probably one of the biggest fans of all the shows you worked on, so I would love any kind of interview with you where I can ask the hard-hitting questions about Season 5, what we can expect, hopefully your release date. Because if you couldn't tell, I'm very excited. Thank you so much everyone for watching. Share this, send it to your friends. Let's try to make this happen, and if we can get to 1,000 subscribers in the next 2 months of this upload, then I will get this Perry the Platypus tattoo. And if you haven't already, subscribe, put your theories in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.
There's 104 days of summer vacation. So the annual problem for our generation is finding a good way to spend it. Like maybe building a rocket or fighting a mommy and climbing up the Eiffel Tower. Discovering something that doesn't exist or giving a monkey a shower. Surfing tidal waves, creating nanobots, locating Frankenstein's brain. Finding a dodo bird, painting a continent, and driving a sister insane. As you can see, there's a whole lot of stuff to do before school starts this fall. So stick with us, cause Phineas and Ferb are gonna do it all. Stick with us, cause Phineas and Ferb are gonna do it all.